The Princess Bride has all the makings of a comfort movie.
Is this a kissing book?
And today, we're going to discuss the film while making this delicious, creamy chicken noodle soup. Hey y'all, it's Nay. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube, and welcome to Comfort Movie in a Meal. So every last Sunday of every single month on my channel, I talk about a comfort movie because that's what we do here. We talk about movies, we talk about TV shows, and I make a meal to go with it. This month, our movie is The Princess Bride, and I am making a homemade creamy chicken noodle soup. Shout out to Margaret for suggesting The Princess Bride. I think I may have said in my comment that I've never seen this, but for some reason I read your comment as The Princess Diaries, and I was like, oh, I've never seen that. And then when I reread it, I was like, oh, that says Princess Bride. And now I understand why Margaret thinks that that's a comfort movie, because it absolutely is a comfort movie, and I've seen it several times, and I love it. If you too would like your comfort movie to be featured next month, drop a comment and let me know what your comfort movie is. You can suggest a meal too. Margaret did not suggest a chicken noodle soup. I just feel like chicken noodle soup is only right to go with this movie. But if you have a meal too, let a girl know. Now, I think that this movie goes perfectly with my chicken noodle soup because this is a sick day movie. I also would argue that this is a Christmas movie because clearly it is. And honestly, it's inconceivable if you say that it's not.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
But I think we all remember sick days, staying home from school. You got your cartoons on, or maybe you're playing a video game. I guess these days you'd probably be scrolling TikTok. Hard pass, because that does not even sound as exciting as watching cartoons all day. But you get it, you're in bed, you got the cozy vibes going. Maybe you got a fireplace, maybe you have the heat on. It's cozy vibes, it's a sick day, you don't gotta go to school. You see the picture I'm painting. And then your mom brings you in a big bowl of chicken noodle soup. Come on, man, take me back to 2003, I beg. Now, in my case, it was not homemade chicken noodle soup. My mom was very much a single mother. She didn't have time to be home making much. But she did give me that Campbell's, and the Campbell's did hit. I think I still have Campbell's. I don't know if I have a Campbell's chicken noodle. Oh, I do have a Campbell's chicken noodle. That's funny as hell. You want to know what I keep canned chicken soup in the house for? The apocalypse, literally. This is apocalypse food. This is a crazy storm happens, which I don't even live in an area where crazy storms happen. This is aliens attack, predators attack. This is a civil war type of situation. Like this is emergency food. That's the only reason I have Campbell's chicken noodle soup in my pantry, because as you can see, I make it from scratch. This would probably taste like shit to me. I'm not gonna hold you. But when I was a kid, this used to hit the spot on a sick day. I know that it's easy to take it out the can, but this chicken noodle soup recipe is gonna be fairly easy as well. You're gonna need noodles. I like these corkscrew kind just because I think they look cool. You're also gonna be needing a carrot, onion, celery mix, or mirepoix for those who are fancy pants. Now, you can buy mirepoix already mixed together, but I like to chop it up myself because I'm a fancy pants. So I just chop that up myself and I already put it on a bowl. And I use yellow onion as well, but feel free to use whatever type of onion you want, although I really wouldn't suggest a red onion because that just wouldn't make sense in a chicken noodle soup. Now, these are optional, but you're also gonna need some potatoes. I prefer Yukon Gold, but I guess this could probably work out with russet potatoes, although I haven't tried it with that because the Yukon Gold just hit different. Then you're also gonna wanna have some rosemary, thyme, and oregano. And yes, I do suggest that you actually get it fresh and not the dried kind. I use dried spices in plenty of recipes, but for something hearty and comforting like chicken noodle soup, you really wanna go fresh. You ain't gotta get name brand, this is store brand right here. And then of course, salt and pepper, which I'm gonna assume you have. And I almost forgot, go ahead and chop you up some garlic too, not too much. Now listen, if you're like me, you're definitely gonna hear me say not too much garlic and you're gonna add an entire bulb of garlic. Don't be that person. When I say not too many, I mean not too many. I literally think I cut up like 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. Do not get crazy. You do not want an overly garlicky chicken noodle soup. You're also gonna be needing some bone broth. Now listen. I will buy I don't even want to say knockoff. I will buy the store brand with the quickness. For something like chicken noodle soup where the broth is the base, broth is basically the entire meal. You won't want to get the good stuff. I got that good organic Trader Joe's broth, okay? This free range chicken. Free range, that's what you want. If you get the cheap version of everything else in this recipe, spend the extra money on a good bone broth. Last but not least, you're gonna need some heavy cream. Now the heavy cream is optional because you might not want a creamy chicken noodle soup. I prefer mine to be creamy. If you don't want it to be creamy, You don't even need the heavy cream. Just have the broth by itself. In fact, if you don't even want it to have noodles, you can leave those off too because we're going to cook those separately. Everything is really optional. Make it how you want. This is how I make it, okay? To be clear and to be fair, this is not a chicken noodle soup recipe made from scratch. Why? Well, because I'm not making the bone broth myself. I could make the broth myself. I very well could do that. And that would probably make it authentically from scratch. But for the sake of time, I don't be making bone broth. I'm not even gonna hold. I've never made that a day in my life. Because I buy the good quality kind for stuff like this. So if you know how to make your own bone broth, you know how to make your own chicken broth, go for that. If not, then just get some high quality bone broth. Now, I truly need y'all to understand that I was down bad when I was watching this, because why the hell did I almost start crying? I mean, legitimate, actual, factual tears were forming in my eyes when I was watching Buttercup and Westley in that opening scene.
As you wish.
Mind you, this is like my 30th time seeing this movie. This is not a new scene to me. I was just like, wow, what an amazing love. I pray that that type of love finds everybody that I love, because it already found me. Now we're gonna get started on the mirepoix. I like to saute mine with a little bit of butter, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then after I saute them in the pan, I'm gonna transfer them to that pot. Before you do that, just know that this is gonna be the same pot you're cooking the soup in. So you very well could just saute your veggies in your pot, but I like to saute mine in the cast iron skillet because I just like to use the cast iron skillet. Now before I get started on sauteing, I'm actually going to get my bone broth in the pot so that it can start boiling.
Okay, I'll turn on the coach lights at 7 p.m. tomorrow.
Go home. Thanks, Alexa. So before you pour all of your broth into the pot, you're gonna wanna save about a cup to a cup and a half of the broth for the side, and we'll be using that later. That's 1.5 cups for the side. We're gonna be using that to boil our chicken in, and then you can put the rest in the pot. I'm making a pretty small batch of chicken soup because, truth be told, I was just sick about a month ago and I ate a lot of chicken soup when I was sick, and I'm a little bit chicken souped out, but it was rainy today. I needed to record this video, so I was like, I'll make the chicken soup today, but I'll make it in a small batch. I'm gonna add my potatoes to the pot just to kind of start to get them going a little bit. Now, obviously, the chunkier that you want your soup, the more of this stuff you're gonna add versus the broth. I like a chunky soup, so my potatoes are in there, and of course, I'm still working on the mirepoix. So you can go ahead and take that 1.5 cups of bone broth that you put to the side, put that in a medium to small pot. This is pretty medium, actually. Now it's time for the big boy, the main attraction. Obviously, it's time for the chicken. You can't have chicken noodle soup without chicken. Now look, you can wash your chicken. You cannot wash your chicken. It is up to you. I don't care what you do with your chicken, okay? Scientifically speaking, you don't have to wash chicken. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like, I know that's the thing that white people be saying, but they're not wrong when they say that.
Inconceivable!
It is a touchy subject, and I'm hesitant to even put this in the video that I don't always clean my chicken because people are going to be like, oh my God. The science has literally proved that you don't need to do it. I'm sorry. I know that's an unpopular opinion. Whatever it is, what it is. While I've been yapping though, The broth has come to a boil, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that down to a simmer and let that continue to do its thing. And also, during this time, I'm still adding, you know, salt, pepper to my broth, and I'm gonna be tasting it as I go. Taste your food. For baking, I let you get a pass if it don't taste right, because you can't taste while you bake. But if your food don't taste right, that is your fault, because you can taste it. So listen, don't judge my chicken ways. I feel the judgment from the black people. Matter of fact, I feel it from the ethnic people. It's not just the black people, because my best friend is Russian and she cleans her chicken too. I think it's just an ethnic thing. And I know we're not supposed to be taking cooking advice from the white people. I know. But they not wrong on this. I'm sorry. If I'm cooking chicken for other people, I will clean it, because I know how other people feel about it. But if I'm making it just for myself, like I am doing right now, I'm not gonna put the time in. I could see y'all dropping off the video right now. I can't believe she just said that. Do, however, wash your hands. You should be doing that. So I just cut the chicken up into chunky pieces, but you could also just put it in the pot like this. We're not gonna put it in the soup like this. You're gonna be cutting it later on. And it is easier to shred when it's already cooked. So for cooking purposes, or for shredding purposes rather, just put it in kind of chunky. Now I have my chicken on a few notches below high, and you're going to let that boil. So basically you're just boiling it because you're going to shred it. Watch it very, very carefully, especially if you have an electric stove like I do, because it's going to cook fast and you don't want to overcook it and dry your chicken out. You can add more seasonings to this, but don't overdo it, because that chicken is just going to end up going into the broth and you don't want to have it over salted or anything like that. So watch it. It cooks fast. It's not like baking chicken. It's gonna boil pretty quickly, so just pay attention to it. Now, while we have both of those pots going, let's talk a little bit more about the Westley and Buttercup love story, because it's a real one. I think about all the other princesses, and they're always being saved by a man. They always need a prince to come save them. In fact, I think Frozen may have been one of the first Disney movies to be like, I don't need a man to save me. And that's why everybody loved Frozen, because it was girl power and all that stuff. But I truly feel like The Princess Bride is a love story where the two love interests save each other. They are soulmates, and they have been soulmates in every lifetime.
Why didn't you wait for me?
Well, you were dead.
Death cannot stop true love. All it can do is delay it for a while.
I mean, look at how they look at each other. Wesley is a man who will do anything for Buttercup. He don't play about Buttercup. And Buttercup will do anything for him. She basically vowed to never love another man when she thought that he died. In a movie like The Princess Bride, where someone is reading a book, it's important that if they're gonna break the fourth wall, they do it in the right way. You know, in a way that doesn't feel like they're kind of interrupting the flow of the story. And I love the way that they do it in The Princess Bride. A great example of breaking the fourth wall in a story like this is when the grandpa is telling his grandson the story, and he goes, wait a minute, you look a little nervous. Buttercup does not die. She does not get eaten by the eels. And they have to break the fourth wall to kind of leave the story and then go back to real life and say, wait, she doesn't die. And then, of course, he starts to read the book again, and he gets back into the book. He's reading the same lines over, and the grandson goes, wait, Grandpa, you already read that. And then he goes, where was I? Where was I?
What that sound is, Highness. Those are the shrieking eels.
Past that, Grandpa. You read it already.
Oh, my goodness, I did. I'm sorry. All right. Let's see. She was in the water. The eel was coming after her. She was frightened. The eel started to charge her, and then...
It's a perfect example of you reading a book, putting it down for a second, going back and trying to find your place again. I just thought they did that in such a great way. It was very realistic. They matched the story with what was happening in real life. It was perfect. Not to mention, this movie is funny as hell. It's a bit campy at times.
What about the ROUSs?
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
Where am I?
The pit of despair. Don't even think... Don't even think about trying to escape.
I think when Margaret suggested this film, she was saying, oh, everybody in this film is perfectly casted. And I second that. Everybody in this film was the perfect character for who they were casted for. Also, this is going to be very random unless you are into watching old TV shows. But I just realized this time after watching this that the grandpa is actually Columbo. I don't know if anybody's ever seen that show, but it's like this, I don't know, I think it's like 80s, 70s, 80s TV show about this guy who's a detective. It's kind of like Matlock. I think Matlock was a show about a detective. Anywho, The grandpa is also the same guy who plays Columbo. They are hitting their marks when they need to hit their marks. They being serious when they need to be serious, funny when they need to be funny. The facial expressions are there. The chemistry is there between the cast. Everything is flowing great. The king is amazing.
You know how much I love watching you work. But I've got my country's 500th anniversary to plan, my wedding to arrange, my wife to murder, and Gilda to frame for it. I'm swamped.
And that's what makes this movie great. And watching Westley try to struggle his ass up this mountain will never get old.
Slow going! Look, I don't mean to be rude, but this is not as easy as it looks, so I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't distract me.
I've got some rope up here, but I do not think it would accept my help, since I am only waiting around to kill you.
That does put a damper on our relationship.
And watching these two roll down this hill as he yells out, "As you wish," is just like, how funny is that? It's basically as classic as chicken noodle soup. Which, speaking of that, let me get back to mine. Right around this time, the chicken's almost done. You can go ahead and make your noodles. I'm gonna assume most people know how to make noodles. If not, this is pretty much the only brand that I use. I feel like they cook perfectly every single time. And they have pretty simple instructions. I have not read them ever. Or probably when I was first learning how to cook, but I haven't read them. Anyway, go ahead, make your noodles. Some people like to boil their water first. I am definitely a boil my water and my noodles at the same time type of person. I don't wanna be dramatic, but I think the world is ending. But it's Thursday and I'm in love, and it's such a good distraction. Now, if you are feeling a little fancy pants, you can just throw this in a blender and shred it or chop it that way. I do prefer it to be shredded like it is when you do it with 2 forks. So you just get 2 forks, you hold the chicken with one, and you just literally just pull it apart. I don't know if this is how people shred chicken, but this is how I shred chicken. Super simple, super easy, quick, and then you're just gonna put it in the bowl afterwards. Repeat that until you have shredded all the chicken. So this is how much chicken I end up having from that pack of chicken. I'm probably gonna put a little more than half of this into my soup and then save the rest for some quick tacos tomorrow. So I'm adding some of the chicken. And you kind of want to have chicken in every bite, right? Like that's kind of the point of a chicken soup. I feel like with every bite of this, I would have chicken, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. These are figment bowls. They have lids, so you don't have to worry about, oh, what am I gonna store this in? You can mix stuff and store it in these bowls. You can cook stuff and store it in these bowls, so I love these. That's gonna go in the fridge. And then I'm just gonna continue to let the chicken soak in some of that juice. Leave that there probably until about the noodles are done, and then we're gonna add the heavy cream. My noodles just finished right here. They're a little al dente, that's how I like them. That's so good. Okay, now I'm gonna add the heavy cream. I'm going to be using this 1/4 cup for the heavy cream. I'm using the measuring cup to measure it out, but it's not because I have a precise measurement to put in. It's that I don't want to over cream it, because if you over cream it, you're gonna end up with a bowl of hot milk with carrots in it. So you don't want to go too heavy on the heavy cream. It has heavy in the name. You don't need that much. Just 1/4 at a time. And then stir and taste. And you can already see it's kind of getting that creamier consistency versus brothy. Maybe just a little bit more. I can feel it getting close. And I think that should be good. That's about the color that I want it. Now, while there is nothing wrong with the good old classic can of Campbell's chicken noodle soup, it has a place in the world. It's very nostalgic for me. Like I said, I grew up eating chicken soup out of the can. But there is something that just hits different about making it yourself and having this. Like, I don't have any children, but I legitimately daydream about the day that my kids are homesick from school and I get to make them this chicken noodle soup that I love so much. Watch, my kids aren't even gonna like chicken noodle soup. I'm gonna have to learn how to make a different soup. You'd also grab something to go with this. I'm probably going to toast me a quick piece of sourdough bread, but if crackers are more your speed, as you wish. Man, that's so good. Okay. Now, you do want to store these separately. If you mix the noodles into the broth, the noodles are going to absorb all of the broth. It's not going to be a soup anymore, is what I'm trying to say. So don't store the pasta and the broth together. Put them in separate bowls. You can freeze the chicken noodle soup. However, if you put the cream in it, cream does not freeze well. Broth and the cream or milk freeze at different temperatures. So cream rarely ever freezes the right way. It's going to be gritty when you defrost it. So if you are someone who you know you're going to make a batch to freeze, then don't put cream in the batch that you're freezing. Just add it after, once you put it back on the stove when you're reheating it. But don't put it in before, because it's not going to freeze right and it's not going to thaw right. Thank you again to Margaret for suggesting The Princess Bride. I am so happy. I was so happy when I realized that it said Princess Bride, because I was like, oh my God, I get to watch a movie that I love, and I hadn't seen it in a long time, so it was like almost like watching it again for the first time. It was gloomy today, it was raining a little bit, so it just felt like the perfect time to watch the movie and make this meal. If you love cozy vibes, nostalgic movies, I'm here every last Sunday of the month with this series, because everybody knows that Sunday is the coziest day of the week. I do not subscribe to Sunday Scaries, and if you have a movie that you would like to see me cover in an upcoming video, let me know in the comments. Drop a comment. You could, like I said, you can feel free to drop some food too. So far, no one has suggested food. I mean, I've only done 2 of these videos, but so far, no one has suggested food. I'm just making the food. I'm thinking, what would I want to eat when I watch this? And that's how I came up with that for this. If you missed my first video in this series, check out the playlist on my channel, my comfort movie and a meal playlist. And while you're catching up on that, I'm gonna go eat my soup, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, I said I was gonna have a new sign off for these. Bone apple tea. Bone apple. I really gotta find something better. That don't sound good. That don't roll off the tongue like bye. Next month I have something better. Test, check 1 2 1 2. Last. Oh. If I come, oh, don't die. If I slip off this, okay. Somebody's watching me, it's my anxiety. No, you can't start cleaning. No, Roomba. No. Girl, watching Wesley